This is a very important year because, it's an election year, but, our votes and our voices, we actually haven't fully shown out yet. Every election's been getting better and better. And even in the last one, youth have come out strong. But you know what? What if we all came out strong? But as we ground ourselves before we kick off, summer solstice is a time of rest. It's almost, for me, it's almost like my new year. I always have everything kind of starts and ends in this month around this time. And so it's important for us to be mindful into the next month. There's a lot of times tribes will have ceremonies and different gatherings and get-togethers, formal and informal. But in all this busyness, it's important for, restoration of our selves, of our hearts, of our minds. And when I think of summer solstice, that's what I think about. I'd like to introduce my friend, my colleague, grantee alumni, amazing person, the ZJ, Zoom DJ, April Cordova. April, can I pass it to you to introduce yourself and then open us up with a blessing so we can go ahead and get started?
Yoho Mitakiape, Ava Cordovi, Machiape, Malakotan, Tas Pueblo. My Thama is Joseph Conquilla Cordova. My Ina or my cause, Patricia Crow Cordova. I'm sixth generation from Chief Red Cloud. I'm the owner operator of AC and Associates. I'm a mother, daughter, community member. I'm a former grantee for the Helpers and Healers through Return to Heart Foundation. And I'm very thankful to have a beautiful sisterhood, some individuals that are here today that have made me laugh, made me heartfelt. I'm just thankful to be in this space with you all today. I'm going to go ahead and open with in a good way, welcome, introduction, and prayer. I'm just thankful for you all to be here. I've harvested this California white sage, which I am lighting right now, and I'll do a quick prayer. If you don't pray, I just ask that you take a moment to center yourself and fill in yourself what it is that you expect to get out of the day. But with that, I'll go ahead and complete my prayer. Creator, we come to you today with open hearts and open minds, thankful for the many blessings that you provide us on a minute, monthly, second basis, from the ability to walk, talk, be here today, to share space, to celebrate summer solstice, to be here in this sisterhood and thrive from our ancestors' prayers, and thrive in the work that we're doing. Creator, I ask that you keep the individuals here and those that are still on their way healthy, wealthy, and safe. Creator, I'm thankful for the many blessings that come throughout Indian country and come from all of these amazing individuals that are here today in this Zoom room. Keep them strong, keep them thriving, keep them resilient. Creator, I'm thankful for all that you do. Ta'a, pilamayaye, gracias, etyehet. Ajona slay, Ajona slay, Ajona slay, Ajona slay. Amen. Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and get started with an opening song from Tiana Spotted Thunder. Tiana is also a helper and healer, and her project was about bringing back traditional songs, and not just bringing back traditional songs and teaching them to our young people, but also making new songs. And so she's going to share with us a new song that is meant for us women to be encouraged. And I'll let her give an introduction. If you were at Summer Solstice last year, we had the privilege and honor of learning with her, learning with each other. She knows the song. And it was just so beautiful.
Thank you for the introduction, Gina. Hoyameda Kibi Chantewashtina Bechuzapi. Tiana Spotted Thunder Imachiapi na la kolia Tashiokamuka Huashdevi Hemiat. Oglala Emataha Ash Hesapik Tawatik Sto Dawachianka Piksto and Gayahi Piksto. Good to see everybody and thank you for coming. My name is Tiana Spotted Thunder. My Lakota name is Good Voice Meadowlark Woman. And my voice is still recovering from a lot of singing lately, but I would really love to share this song in person with you, and I can even type the words in the chat and I can share that as well. But the song means I promise to keep encouraging myself even when times get hard, I encourage myself. That's what that means. So just use that as a song for yourself when you need, and lean on songs like these for yourself when you're having a hard time. Hey, hi, hey, hi, oh, hey, hey, hi, oh, hey, hi, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Echas blimi chile, yai oe, awe, do te awa oe, yai oe, awe, blimi chile, yai o. Hey, hi, hey, hi, oh, hey, hey, hi, oh, hey, hi, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh. Echas blimi chile, yai oe, do te awa oe, yai oe, blimi chile, hey, hey, Echas blimi chile, yai oe, ai, do te awa oe, yai oe, ai, blimi chile, Pila mai o bigsto. Thank you, everybody.
We're going to go ahead and give you an intro to Summer Solstice from last year. And hopefully next year we'll be in person again.
For many Indigenous people across Turtle Island, summer solstice, or any solstice, or the meeting of the equinoxes, are very important to markings among our traditional calendars.
We created the Return to the Heart Foundation because we dreamed of Native women being supported, being able to invest in our community and to our helpers and healers who are healing in their community was our utmost priority.
The primary focus in our population is Native women and girls because of all the dire statistics that surround our communities related to missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, and really the ongoing historical violence that we've experienced due to federal policy and settler colonialism all across this country.
Not seeing the funding going to women, it was just so disheartening. And to see patriarchy when Native women are the ones who are holding everything down. I learned about firsthand what boarding school has done to tribal communities, to my family specifically. I'm fighting for not just the future of other Native women, I'm fighting for the young ones who are coming in our future. As we kick off our program for this year, I'd like to introduce again, colleague, but really turned friend. You know, when we bring our community together, when we have these amazing, strong women, you know, it forges friendships. It forges, you know, bonds because we're here to lift one another up. And one of these people is Allie Young, who I met a couple jobs ago, and we've stayed close. She, when COVID hit, a lot of folks left to go back home to their communities, and she went back to her home, and she created an organization called Protect the Sacred. And Allie really was on fire to support Native youth and also to get out the vote. So we're going to go ahead and show you, bring Allie on right now. She will tell you about her latest and greatest work and hopefully inspire you for your work that you're doing or are going to do, because you know, our voices are so important in this new election. It's so important that we have a say.
Yacht Shea Allie Young and Shea Twitsoni Nishlan Tohana Bashishin Akaidina Dashiche Net Odina Tachini Dashanella. Hello everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you today and thank Return to the Heart Foundation for inviting me to speak about what I'm doing for civic engagement this year through my organization Protect the Sacred, which focuses on Native youth civic leadership development. And also we educate our allies and bring them into this work. Also, I am the founder and director of Protect the Sacred, and I'm from the Navajo Nation, where I started our program called Ride to the Polls in 2020, the presidential election. It was a tough year, I would say, motivating our young voters, our Native young voters, because there was a lot of pushback and a lot of, I would say, voter fatigue, and really just disappointment in the system. And we're seeing that again this election. But in 2020, it was such an important year and such an important election that I really wanted to figure out a way, an activation that was grounded in my culture, in my Diné culture, that would resonate with Diné young voters, and then hopefully, you know, young Native voters across the country and beyond, young Native voters as well. I wanted Ride to the Polls to reach American voters really across the country. And I think that we did accomplish that. And I was hearing some pushback from our young people, asking us why we were continuing to ask our people to participate in a system that was not designed for us and has never worked for us, which is a valid point, and a point that I agree with. And that just also was very inspiring to me, because I was very proud of, you know, these very critical questions that our young people are asking, because I truly believe that our young people are in a lot of ways more educated than ever. I mean, at such a young age, they already know our history, our Native American history, and they're asking these poignant questions. But my response to them was, yeah, I agree with you, but also we are a part of this system. And in order to reclaim and rebuild our power, one of the ways is participating civically and making our voices heard through the ballot. And when we do that, we're able to elect leaders into these state and federal offices that hopefully we're electing people who want to collaborate with Indian country and who want to hear out our communities, and help us to rebuild our power. And even better, in the last 8 years, we've seen so many of our own people running for these offices. And now we have Deb Haaland, who is the Secretary of the Interior, and we're continuing to build that power. And in this election, we have over 80 Native politicians running. And it's just really incredible to see. So in 2020, I had to take a step back and I had to think about how am I going to motivate our young people? And if there's, I've been doing youth organizing for a very long time, since graduating college. And one thing that I know about our young people is our deep respect for our elders and our ancestors and all that they've had to survive for us to be here today and for us to have the rights that we have today. So grounding Ride to the Polls at activation, the first one where we rode on horseback to a polling location, it was really about tapping into what many of our tribes and our cultures believe in, which is this reverence for horses and horse culture. And in my tribe, we call it horse medicine, which is about, praying for strength and resiliency. And I wanted us to be connected to that kind of medicine as we're going to a polling location where, we're casting a ballot that is representative of our voices. That's what Ride to the Polls was about. And it was also about honoring our ancestors and our elders who had no choice but to get to a polling location on a horse because they had no other transportation, but they knew the importance of voting. So, we interviewed some elders who talked about those stories about seeing their parents saddling up and riding, 2 to 3 hours to go to a polling location to cast their ballots. And what you all can do is ask your relatives, if they have a voting plan, ask them if they're registered to vote, point them in the right direction. You can visit our website, ridetothepolls.com, where you can check your voter registration status. You can also register to vote. You can also later in the next couple of months, you can find a toolkit there where you can organize your own Ride to the Polls in your community. What I would love to see is, all of our people who, revere horse culture, for all of us across Indian country, across this country, riding to polling locations on horseback. It's a beautiful blessing and a reminder as you are on horseback and you're riding in your ancestral homelands and in your tribal community. It really is a great reminder of what you're fighting for. And we're fighting to protect the sacred. We're fighting to protect our communities for the next 7 generations. And that is the power of our vote, of the Native vote. So get out there, register to vote, get to the polling locations. Primary elections are coming up this summer. For look up your state and make sure the deadlines for your state, voter registration deadlines. We're celebrating National Voter Registration Day in September, and then get to a polling location and make your voice heard through the vote on November 5th. Let's make history this year. Thank you so much to Return to the Heart Foundation, and thank you for having me today.
Wow,
Yay.
that was awesome.
Yes, Allie was one of our society fellows as well. That was our first cohort.
Thank you, Allie, for that great video. And we would like to go into our next segment, which is another individual who is making an impact in her nations. She is my sister from another mister. She is retired, however, is doing all kinds of grant making, grant writing, making wishes come true, making trauma and historical trauma a thing of the past through Healing Ribbons, which is the name of her project. And I'm going to let her explain herself and introduce herself. But this is the amazing, the beautiful, the funny Tammy Buffalo Head.
Thank you so much. I have to begin by thanking Avril, thanking Gina, and everything she put together, because without you, this never would have happened. And you're making a lot of impact and change throughout Indian country, and I thank you for that. And I thank everybody who's here, because you're also making change in your community. Healing Ribbons happened basically out of tragedy. In 2018, my sister was abandoned in the middle of winter, intoxicated by one of our relatives, and left her without her phone, her purse, her money, or her coat, and she froze to death. And so my niece, Sierra, came to live with me, and she was 13 at the time. And I asked her, what can I do to help you feel connected to your mom? And her mother used to make elaborate regalia because she was always at every powwow. She was planning powwows. She was helping people with regalia. And Sierra, from a young age, remembered her sewing. Well, I didn't know a lick about sewing or any of those things, because while my sister and my brother were in the kitchen learning how to do all this, I was running around in the timbers like a tomboy, or running with my dad's boxing team. I was more of a tomboy. So I joined an elder group through the Ponca tribe to learn how to sew. And what I discovered was there was healing in that, by bringing matriarchs together to sew, to share our stories, to share our wisdom, to share our culture, made a significant impact on our own mental health and our healing from trauma. Well, unfortunately, in 2019, all of us encountered COVID, and all those programs ended. We continued, though, to stay connected through social media, and social media became this beacon of connection. And during COVID, we lost so many of our culture bearers. I and my own family lost my sister, my dad, and 6 of my aunts, and my aunt and uncle, in fact, passed away of COVID on the same day. So we lost those culture bearers, those people that were there to tell us, our ways and guide us and help us maintain our identity. Also during that time, I'm curious everybody remembers, there was the mass graves were discovered. And I think that for many of us re-traumatized us, but it also woke us up and it started a dialogue. And when I saw the Helper and Healer grant, I thought, well, I want to bring back this group, but this group, I want to bring it back as an intergenerational group so that I can sew with my niece, so that she could sit there with me and we could learn together. And I put it out on social media, and I was shocked to find that over 100 people responded. This was in April of 22. And I didn't know what to do. Luckily, one of my friends named Becky Sullivan, who was co-chair, who was a chairwoman for the Ponca tribe, came in, and we co-founded basically Healing Ribbons. We became a nonprofit in December of December 21st of 22. Since then, we are now a fully established nonprofit organization. We have served over 300 individuals. We've created a premier program called The Art of Healing: Stories, Stitches, and the Sacred. And in that program, we do basically twice a month, Sunday gatherings from noon until 4. And we do prayer, we do a fellowship meal, we do cultural regalia making. And we provide all the supplies for everything through the grants that we've raised. So the women learn how to make fans, they learn how to make bone hair pipe necklaces, they learn how to make jingle dresses, whatever it is that they want to make, whatever thing that they want to create. We also integrate talking circle. In fact, I want to thank Loretta Jordan, who's here today with us. She runs our talking circles for us. And then we also integrated ceremony. We are having a fire ceremony, we're having a feathering ceremony, and a calling back the spirit ceremony. And the feathering ceremony will take place at our round dance that we will be doing in October, where all of the women and children in our group that want to be part, to want to enter the arena, they will be feathered so that they can formally enter the arena. And the thing that's unique about our program is we're intergenerational. The matriarchs are our participants, but under them, their entire extended family is welcome to participate. So we have anywhere from age 1 all the way up to the 80s participating in one room. We even have multi-generational families. So you can have mom, children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren all in the room learning together. And one of the things that came out of it that I hadn't anticipated was that the women even talked about how it helped some of their family relationships, because when they were raising their children, they maybe were suffering from addiction. And so it frayed some of those relationships, and now they're mending those relationships. And the program has become so that I have an amazing board of directors, and we pretty much are guided by what the women say they need. So we did last year our first fashion show ever, where the women basically got up on stage in their regalia, and in the program they wrote a paragraph about what their regalia meant to them, what their healing journey was. So they told their story of healing through their regalia. It was unbelievable. We had it at Creighton University. We had 350 seats available. We sold out. This year, not only are we doing the fashion show again, but we're now partnering with Jocelyn Art Museum, and we're doing a wearing blanket show. So our women right now and some of the children are making wearing blankets. And we even had people like Loretta and other people come in and talk about culturally, what did our symbols mean to us? What did the colors mean to us? So that they were very intentional about creating their regalia. So that regalia really tells their journey, their story of who they are. And then they'll participate in September 29th in a panel discussion and fashion show where they'll also wear their wearing blankets, which they of course get to keep all this regalia that they make. We'll also, like I said, have a round dance in October where we kind of bring that healing back into play by doing the fire ceremony. We're having them talk about their intentions, what their prayers are, what are they putting into this regalia, what do they want from this journey, what is it that they want to come out of this year-long program, because we start in February and go all the way through December. In addition to the Sunday gatherings, we also meet twice a month for sewing, where we teach the women how to sew. And so they come in and they learn how to sew. And it's become really beautiful because some of the women now are actually selling their work, and they've actually turned it into a micro business. The women also said that they want to share their story with the greater community. So we wrote a grant as a team, and we received a grant for $25,000 to do a short documentary where the women get to tell their stories. And that's the liberation piece. That's the decolonization piece, where they can say, we're reclaiming who we are, our identity. And they're able to share that story, not only for their own liberation, but also to encourage other women who may be suffering, who still may be in the, in that quagmire of depression and trauma from the historical and intergenerational trauma. And that's the other thing that we've done, is we've grounded everything that we do in work by Dr. Maria Braveheart and Dr. Bassett. And we've raised over $220,000 this year, and we'll finally be able to hire staff. Everything's been done by volunteers.
That is,
Thank
I
you.
mean, we can hear you, the passion in your voice, the passion in your community, just to see the healing from just getting the Helpers and Healers grant. And from that to what you have now in your community of healing, I'm so thankful and grateful to have you as a sister, to have you as a role model, to have you as an inspiration to me for my community. I just want to say ta'a wopila. Thank you, Tammy, for just the amazing job that you've done.
Next, we have a short talk about entrepreneurial adventures and collaborations with Dawn Manuelito, who is the CEO and founder of Manuelito Health and Wellness Systems. She is Apache, Dene, born and raised on the Navajo Reservation and San Carlos Reservation. Her passion is to help educate and bring awareness for gut health and wellness to our Indigenous communities. And when I talk to folks about our fund for Helpers and Healers, I love to mention Dawn, because if you Google gut health, you're going to see an old white man, and he's going to tell you you should go back to an Indigenous diet. And so when Dawn applied and her project was to educate Native women, it was like, thank you for being here, because we need you. We need you. So that's just a quick introduction. I'll pass it to her to tell you about her work.
Yeah, Return to the Heart organization, April, Gina, Tammy, all of my sisters here. I just am so thankful and blessed to be here and to be a part of this sisterhood. And it really is that sisterhood, everybody, to see what we're doing and healing in our communities. Dagot Esi Damanulito Gonzeg, I am half San Carlos Apache, half Dene from the Navajo Nation and the San Carlos Apache tribe. I was raised on both nations. And my passion for our Native and Indigenous communities is to educate and bring awareness to our Native communities, in that be able to understand healing from the inside out because of the generational systems of food trauma and food sources that we lack now, and we have no access to, or very limited access to. and the way things have changed and generations have changed, has changed our diet as well. And I love that, Gina. Thank you for sharing that. We're going to fix that when it comes up gut health. Manuelito Health and Wellness Systems is going to come up one day on Google. So, but when you do Google me, it would be my name and I come up on the board. And it's really about bringing back that healthy lifestyle and living through food and healing through food. And I teach through a system, which is a 6-pillar system, which is the mental health, the spiritual health, emotional health, not only just nutritional and like physical health and well-being, but also financial. I feel like in our Diné way, we talk about Hojo and having a life of balance. And when we look at these things, if we don't have a life of balance and we're so focused on trying to earn an income and raise our family as women and matriarchs of our communities, we're being pulled in all these different areas. But if we heal and understand that balance system from the inside out, we are change makers, we are healers. Look at what all of you ladies and sisters are already doing. Look at the impact we have on our communities. So my goal was, back when I applied, I was actually asked, hey Dawn, I see what you're doing, would you please apply for this grant? And I didn't know, and I was like, okay. So I went ahead and applied, and I'm so thankful because in 2019 I got an invite to apply for the grant, and I applied, and I was accepted, and I was so excited because in 2019 was the year that I actually established Manuelito Health and Wellness Systems. And I really honestly was like, okay, where do I start? What do I do? COVID just hit. I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to do. But COVID made an impact for so many people, especially with health and wellness. This is when we had so many losses and we had grieving people, but we have to combat the sickness with education and understanding. And so with that part, I decided with Return to the Heart's funding, I was going to create workshops, and they helped me launch my first workshop. So thank you, because from there, I helped 10 Indigenous people and women. And from there, we started launching, and now I speak across the country, giving workshops to many tribes and sharing this workshop with everyone across the nation. I've expanded into New Mexico, California, going into Washington as well. And then we took it a step further and about educating our Indigenous people and building that sustainable lifestyle, because historical food trauma and food systems, we have to sustain what we're learning and consistently do so in order to receive success with our gut health. So everybody, I wouldn't be doing us a service if I didn't share why I teach what I teach. Okay, so you're going to get a microdose of your guts. If you haven't seen your guts lately and taken a good look inside, here it is. You're going to see all your guts. This is your bit, your heart right here, your liver, your pancreas, and then the ultimate right here, your chi, which is your intestines. And then we have the gut, on the back, we have the little kidneys, right? These kidneys here. We've expanded our platform to all over social media, so across all the platforms and social media, just reaching a lot of people and helping so many as we can, because it's desperately needed, facing all the ailments from not only COVID, but we also face coronary heart disease, type 2 diabetes, overweight, obesity, all these, eating disorders, from the mental health issues and the social behaviors that we face with the trauma in our world. Along with, I extended it out to the treatment centers for people that go through recovery and healing. So we start to really heal from the inside out as well with the gut health too. So alcohol dependency is reduced, and drug use is also reduced. But we also took it another step further, and we came out with our own Shana Wellness, which is the Abid products. and that's gut health and it's digestive enzymes. And it's actually, I labeled it for us as Native Indigenous people. We can relate to that. We understand it, you know, and I looked for the best ingredients, the cleanest ingredients without all the side effects, nothing like that. So that's one of them. I have 4 coming out, but I have these 2, and Ilhush and Ilhash, depending on if you're an Apache or Navajo that day, which is your sleep aid, healthy sleep aid, GABA, melatonin GABA complex to help really get our rest that we need. So those are the 2. We have 2 more coming out. So we keep expanding, we keep growing, looking into hiring 2 people as well in the near future. So these are the things that we're doing here at Manuelito Health and Wellness Systems. But thank you, Ahia, from everything that I have to all of you out there, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dawn. It's beautiful just to see the evolution of all that you're doing. This first part of this of Summer Solstice, we're going to wrap up soon, and we're going to bring everyone together so that we can hear from every person here. The agenda was, first part was getting out the vote, so using our voice in a powerful way. And then the next part was making impact. And that was Tammy, who, you know, had this, thought she was going to do 30 people, 15 to 30 people sewing group. And now she's dreaming about buying a building and hiring staff. It's just so amazing. And then the entrepreneurship, you know, and sparking those new adventures. This last part is about leveraging collective superpowers on behalf of Native women and girls. And I'm going to take this section to talk a little bit about a brand new fund that we are working on, that we launched it. It's called Our Sisters Are Sacred, and it is to support grassroots organizations, nonprofit organizations who are doing work to stop missing and murdered Indigenous women and support the families, you know, of the victims and whatever they want to do. We're not telling them what the grant should look like. We're letting them tell us what the grant should look like. And it's 20 to 30,000. And if you are not under a nonprofit organization, partner with one. In our last grant round, we had a grantee who's an individual. She's doing food sovereignty, traditional foods, bringing back that in her community. But she's just a person, you know, who has a regular job, and she's not under any organization. She's not under any, you know, nonprofit. And so she went to her tribe and said, can you be my fiscal agent? Can I run this through you? And they're like, sure. And then she's asked us, can you do that? Sure. The answer is yes. And even when it comes to like LLCs, partnering with a nonprofit or another organization, you know, could be a pathway to be able to support this type of work through a grant. So we have 500,000, but we want to double that to see $1 million before the end of the year. So we're holding off. We're holding off until Indigenous Peoples Day to open the application. It'll be open for about a month, about 6 or 7 weeks. So that's our new plan. I'm excited. We're having individuals who are sending in funding, but really I'm looking for the big fish. You know, if there was one foundation who wanted to match our 500, boom, we got our $1 million. So we just had a funder briefing on Monday and are getting the word out, because philanthropy has not heard Native women. They have not heard our cries. They have not heard our needs, and they have not put the funding towards us yet. But I want to change that. And so that's the leveraging our superpowers, and sometimes it's tiring. I mean, it's hard to do the fundraising and do the job at the same time. And I'm in that boat, absolutely, but it's worth it. And you know, the impact we're going to be able to make, especially for small organizations who have no money, you know, 30,000 is a nice little start. And I used to work with courts a long time ago. I was working with Meskwaki tribe. It was an elder who was a court clerk, and she told me, you're an Indian mama and you can turn a dime into a dollar and you're going to make things happen. And I always just held that, because it's like, you know what, you're right. We had to struggle, you know, and we still are, but in different ways and for different reasons, you know. Today, you know, the struggle is to fight patriarchy, to fight racism and oppression, and colonization, fight that we're not protected by laws and jurisdictions, and fight to take that target off our backs. I want to do a multi-level social media campaign where I'm hearing from the grassroots. What would you want to say to philanthropy and allies? Hearing from organizations, what would you want to tell about Native women? Hearing from the allies in philanthropy, so like the big funders, what would you tell your colleagues about supporting missing and murdered Indigenous women? And then also the influencers, who have, millions of followers and can get out with one word, awareness, it like nobody's business. But I sent out that email because I feel like the voices from the grassroots for me is the most important voice, because you are the ones that are out there doing the work. You're in your community, you're bringing change. That's to me the most important thing.
Thank you so much, Gina, for that information. What great information. Thank you so much to everybody that's doing great work and that can donate or know somebody that can donate. It's all welcomed. We want to make that match and get that $1 million.
And apply. Who is going to apply? Because you may know groups who may not be ready to apply today, but you got a couple months to get ready so that you have your fiscal sponsor if you need one. You are working with a tribe if you need one. Whoever or however, if you need partners, the time is to start thinking about that now. So when that application comes out, you're ready to go. This next part of our together time is about sharing and getting to know one another, being inspired. Every single person in here is an inspiration. What you're doing is helping and it's healing in your communities and even beyond. And I feel like whenever we get together, it's healing for one another, for each other. So that's what our circle today is going to be about. What has been healing in your community? What helps you heal on a personal level? Because we all need that. We all need to know, those strategies that keep us whole, that keep us together and keep us moving forward so we don't get too tired and we don't give up. Now, because we're on Zoom and we have, let's see here, we have 20 people right now. We're gonna just give folks like 2.5 minutes to introduce yourself and to share, if you are a grantee, what your project was, just the name of it, so we can have an idea of what that was. And then what is healing in your community? Maybe it's your project, or maybe it's something else, anything you want to share. And then the final thing will be what helps you heal on a personal level. And it's just so we can all have a chance to get to know one another and all have a chance to hear what we're doing and what's healing, right? Because that is critical information. What is healing in our communities? Because we have a lot of healing to do, and it's not our fault. We were put in this situation and we're recovering. If I can go ahead and start with Marlene, if you wouldn't mind being first and kicking us off.
Okay, well, hello, everybody. My name is Marlene Marion, and I'm a member of the Tomoke tribe of Western Shoshones in Nevada. And Gina is my longtime friend. I'm also a past and a current Helpers and Healer grantee. I've received that grant a couple of times so far, and I'm very grateful for that. I have started running sweat baths about 15 years ago in my community, because when I first started doing it, I found out that it really helped me to heal spiritually, because I had a very damaged spirit, and I was also suffering from alcoholism, and the sweat really helped me to overcome spiritual sickness. So I found myself in a position to be able to learn how to run one. And through those years, I was able to pick up songs, and I just started following the ceremonies that our ancestors did. And so I do all of them. I'm a sun dancer, I've done Vision Quest, and I just absolutely love this road that I'm on now. And I'm also a part of a MMIW awareness group. So right now we're just in the beginning stages. We're just an awareness group, and we had our third annual event in Elko at the convention center, and it was really successful. So what we want to do is we want to move forward, advance up, apply for grants to make it bigger. My heart's calling to, this is all I want to do now. I'm doing child welfare now as a human services manager, and I love what I do, but this other part of me just wants to do sweats and wants to go to ceremonies and wants to do MMIW, and that's all I want to do now. So anyway, I'm just here and I'm glad to be a part of this meeting today. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Marlene.
Next, Elaine, will you introduce yourself and what your project was and what is healing in your community?
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I am Elaine from the beautiful Black Hills, and my project was to teach our culture and our life ways to the youth as a way to prevention, meth, alcohol, drugs, whatever, just to teach, to bring back our the teachings of our elders and our ancestors. And I have since moved from the reservation to the city, and it's been a change. It's really nice. There's a lot of Native programs that are working together to teach our ways to the children and to the communities. So that's a big plus. But a couple of the things that I want to focus on is I'm a grandma. ICWA has been calling me. Learning more about ICWA and how I can help has been at my doorstep. I keep young people that are 18 to 21, starting out in life. So I'm trying to, guide and direct them, help them, find their way. And most recently, I've been collaborating with an older sister of mine from home, and it's to teach traditional midwifery. I made a comment that this reminds me of Indigenous Women's Network, an organization from the 90s, way back when, that I was involved in. And, it's just a beautiful Native women coming together, supporting each other and helping our communities. And so that's, some of the work that I want to do. I do regalia making. I make the moccasins and all the stuff they need to dance. But when we talk about traditional midwifery, it takes us into traditional birthing practices. And so we're hoping to teach that to our mothers, our young families, and to bring back those teachings, to our people, so they'll know, they'll be aware. I've also most recently started volunteering with MMIW here in the city, and so I'll help with their fundraising efforts. But I'm a Native mama, and I'm always on the lookout for opportunities to help others. So thank you for the opportunity, for as a grantee, and for allowing me to be part of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, Dawn just messaged me that she's going to have to run for an appointment. But before you leave, tell us what you do to take care of you.
Ladies, this is the important part. We are all giving of ourselves. Remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. This has been my biggest lesson recently, that I matter too. So as much as you give of yourself, remember you all matter. Remember to look in the mirror and tell yourself that you are important, that you matter, you are worthy and deserving of all the love and the light that you give out, ladies. So I have to remember that. And that's one of the healing pieces that I've had to really come embrace with. So all of you ladies, know that you are amazing, and thank you. Return to the heart. I needed this. This is my healing space. I needed this. So thank you, everybody. Yeah. Ayo aninishne, meaning I love you all.
Thank you. I love you too. Next, I was going to see if Rebecca, if you would be next up to tell us, to introduce yourself, your project, if you have one, and what is healing in your community?
Mike, Twiak, I'm so grateful to be here today. Thank you for your time. Rebecca Sespooch, I'm White River Band Northern Ute. I'm a Assiniboine Red Butt from Fort Peck, along with Yankton, Sisseton, and Wahpeton from Fort Peck. And the work that I've been doing here, it's just me, no one else, but creating events like mini retreats for Native women and Two-Spirit folks who are doing this community healing work. Just holding a space for us to be able to focus on ourselves, our own healing, our own empowerment. So I've been doing that through the spring equinox and was able to have enough funds to try and do one for the fall as well this upcoming year. I'm a grantee. My project is called We Gather by the Water, and I live in the Seattle area, and there's a lot of community work that happens here because there's a large urban Native population, and of course, as we all know, like Native women, femmes, Two-Spirit folks are always doing that work on the front lines, and without respect, care, funding, etc. So the point of these retreats is just to gather during the equinox, and where it's called Seward Park, and it's where the last old growth in the Seattle area and the Washington Lake meet. And so just to hold some prayers and honor ourselves, our healing, our ancestors, all those who are doing this work, and just reminding ourselves of our own power, our own healing, and making sure that that's the place in which we're doing our work from, and staying strong in that, so that, no matter what it is that we face, that us in ourselves is rooted, just like our ancestors. So no matter what we face, it's not, it can't rip us down or rip us apart, but just to stay rooted in what we're doing. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you everyone for your really good words and your work and your medicine. My prayers are with all of you in what you continue to do. And yeah, just sending love to support everybody and lifting each other up. And I'm so grateful to be here. I hope to be at another one of these events soon. And yeah, I just appreciate you all and everything that you do. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. Lynette, will you go next and introduce yourself?
Tatonkakuya, Mika, Shanje, Hihane, Mani. My name is Lynette Grable. My traditional name is Morning Water. I'm Hunkpa Lakota from the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, and I'm also Northern Arapaho from the Wind River tribe. I have an organization called Not Our Native Daughters. We have been focusing on MMIW, anti-human trafficking, child sex trafficking for 10 years now. And this is our 10th year being an organization. But I feel like this is probably true for all of us. I feel like when you wear one hat in the Indigenous community, you end up wearing all these other hats in the Indigenous community. So not only are you training and educating, prevention, domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking, these are all things that we address, but then you end up wearing hats on providing food for families in need or elders in need, and all the other things that are correlating to the issue that we have a mission in. But another program that we have under our organization, it's called Indigenous Youth Voices for Conservation. This program is focused on, we want to protect our youth, but we also want to empower them. We do a lot of Indigenous conservation, traditional ecology knowledge. We take trips We do youth trips throughout the year. We do snowboarding in the winter, and then we do national parks during the summer. We have a national parks trip coming up in August with our Indigenous youth. We use different, we have Indigenous youth that come from Wind River, the Denver area, Pine Ridge, Rosebud, Cheyenne River, and Standing Rock, Fort Yates area. So we have an array of different youth that come and participate. We also include our elders. So we also bring Lakota elders, Northern Arapaho and Eastern Shoshone elders, and we bring them on the trip to be with our youth when we're going to either wildlife expedition, some other outdoor recreation stuff. We do whitewater rafting and all the other things that we do outdoors, so that they can also learn from the conservation side of the work, but also learn from the elders that we bring. So it's really a unique synergy, because we have what the society says conservation looks like, and what society says what wildlife and all these things, which is stemmed from a colonial perspective. But then we have our Indigenous elders who provide the traditional ecology knowledge, our medicines, the herbs and resources we use for our ceremonies. And stories are tied to these mountains and to these rivers and to this land. Unique, situation, but more so, I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm not a grantee, but I am a new friend from Gina. Gina is my new partner in crime. But for the MMIW stuff and for the anti-human trafficking, I get consulted by tribes to train their tribal hotels and casinos and hospitality staff on how to identify human trafficking and what are the stems of working with law enforcement. I have a long history working with law enforcement, and as a victim advocate, I worked with human trafficking victims for about 5 years. So I incorporate that into the MMIW work. I serve on 2 task forces, the MMIP task force in Wyoming and the MMIR task force in Colorado. So, I wear different hats, just like probably a lot of you, but I'm really honored to be in this space. You guys are all amazing. I've learned from those who have shared, and thank you, Gina, for inviting me. Thank you for your time. Haho.
One last thing, what do you do to take care of you?
Yes. So the Sweat Lodge is where I'm at a lot. But I also found, so I used to, when I used to work with victims, one thing that I learned was that there's no cookie cutter to healing. And healing is different for each and every one of us. How I heal might be different on how you may heal. But of course, the Sweat Lodge, I'm a singer, so I like singing songs. And then I have people that are my soundboard, who are my mentors, that I'm able to vent to, that helps me create advice and, moving forward, traditional protocols for myself. This is healing for me. So thank you.
Thank you. Misty, can you go next?
Hi. So I'm a grantee for this is my first year for the Return to the Heart Foundation. My name is Misty Twainita. I'm a mother of 7 children, and I have been married to my best friend for 15 years. We are also in recovery. We've been in recovery for 9 years now. I'm a peer support specialist here in Lodge Grass, Montana. I run a drop-in center here, and we just serve the community here. We serve the community with love, and we do parenting classes, and we help people make requirements to be able to get their children back. We are both doulas, me and my coworker, so we can help people through their pregnancies with support and recovery. We help send people to treatment. We are here just for a safe place for people to come that know that they're always welcome and met with no judgment. We serve a meal a day. We have hot coffee. A lot of people come here because they don't have they don't have water, or they don't have electricity. So this is their safe place here, is where they come here, and we just are like a family here. And we are a very small community. We're a community of about 300 people. So everybody knows everybody, and
And because I'm in recovery, it means everything to be a peer supporter and be able to help other people see hope that are in that place I once was, where there was none at all. Being able to do that, heals me, as well as that, I can help them. I tell them, you think I'm helping you, but you don't even know you're helping me too, so the way I help myself and serve myself, we have a fitness program here too. We do a walking club in the morning. We do Pilates here and work together to keep each other healthy and eat healthy meals and just serve each other in with love and open heart. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next up is Loretta.
Good morning or good afternoon. I appreciate everything. I really enjoying myself as I sit and listen to all the healing that is going on. And one of the things that I heard was just everybody who is doing a little bit contributing to the help, their healing journeys and sharing those stories. I really appreciate that. My own heart healing journey, I have revived through being on the board with Healing Ribbons. And I thank Tammy for being here today and talking. It was very emotional to hear her today because that's exactly how it has been for me. I have really fought against those silencing messages that the colonized policies have did to our spirits. And so I do continual work on that. And being amongst the board and everybody doing their healing, that's how it enforces mine. And I appreciate Tiana's beautiful song, Wo Pila Tonka Hecha. That really says it all in those words. If you understand the Lakota language, that's what I do when I get those signals, those coded, gaslighted messages from the colonized world that we've lived with forever. That's what I do is I encourage myself to keep on speaking our truth, speaking my truth. And so I appreciate that. And of course, reaching out and telling my story to other women who are going through their healing, or maybe they're just entering the healing journey. That helps me too, like the lady from Lodge Grass, what she said, Misty, thank you. Wopila Tonka Heche for everybody here today. Le Apetuki Wash Day. It's a good day. I'm from Standing Rock, and I tried to use my language, and I have roots here in Omaha too. So we're in a tribal community, off-res urban Indian, they call us, group here, and I've been here for off and on for a long time. So I always be looking for other women like myself, from other nations, because I know that, I don't know, that's just my spirit telling me, to where the healing goes. So my healing journey has been going on for a long time, and I appreciate everybody and what they're doing with their programs. And I hope to be staying a part of this. Thank you. Wopila Tonka Hecha.
Thank you so much for sharing. And you mentioned staying connected. We made a Facebook page last year, but we were talking about doing another one this year. And then you can self-opt if you want to join. So you can share your flyers, share your events, share your information. We could even ask a question and people can share with one another. It'll be a closed group, not public, just for the folks for Summer Solstice. Can I call on Cheryl? Cheryl is a very, very special person in my life, and always will be. Just amazing. I don't know how you're going to talk in 2.5 minutes, but if you would introduce yourself and share a little bit about what you do.
Thank you, Gina. It's just a privilege to be here. And I'm one of your greatest fans, and just thank you for everything you're doing for us in Indian country. Ganesh Chish. I'm Cheryl Demert Fairbanks. I'm Tlingit Simpson, originally from Alaska, but I make my home in Cedar Crest, New Mexico. And I'm a lawyer and a judge and a peacemaker. And so I've been working to get peacemaking into our communities as part of our decolonization work, and it's really having a lot of impact. So we do healing circles, women's circles, men's circles, celebration circles, governance circles, ICWA circles, domestic violence circles. And so uh, I just admire what and listen. And I was with you guys last year in Albuquerque, and I was so impressed with the women and your strength. In Tlingit, we say "Iguayachan." It means have strength and courage, and you gave me that strength and courage that I really, really needed, and you're doing that again. And I just really, really thank you. Thank you. And one of the things that I really believe in is sovereignty begins at home. There's a lot we can do ourselves without $1 million grant that really moves us toward the wellness, the well-briety. And so I do that through my peace circles. And one of the things that I did during COVID and what I learned to do, because I'm an elder, is take a nap in the afternoon, and it feels so luxurious. And I read that if you take 22 minutes, you can't take 8 hours, for God's sake. That's what I would do. I'd be so exhausted. But if you do at least 22 minutes, that's really going to revitalize you. And I borrowed from my late mother. She said, she always said, "Oh, you can't take your own medicine." She said she couldn't take her own medicine. In other words, we were not following our own medicine. And so I really, really honor my mother for what she said, to remind us to take our own medicine, because our medicine is powerful through our language, through our songs, our stories, and our love for one another. I borrow from the Apache people when they said, Bijaya, heal the heart and the rest will happen. So return to the heart. You've got it, Gina. Ganesh Chish. Thank you.
Thank you. One more thing I'm going to ask you about is your women's group. How long
right.
has it been going on? Just a quick.
That's been going on for over 45 years. And we just met a couple Saturdays ago down in Corrales at an old church. And we weren't doing well as mothers and grandmas, and then our profession, and we were just burned out, exhausted. So we just took, instead of calling in sick, we called in well. And we would have a guest speaker, a lot like what you're doing here. And then we'd move into circle and share our stories. And it is really, really healing. And we're going to be working on another one in the near future. So I'll invite everyone to come. So it's called Ojo Women's Group. And we used to go and soak up in Ojo Caliente up here in New Mexico, the homelands of the Okeo people. And they have that beautiful warm water that's so healing. You just get into it. And, for us, we're the Hina Kwan from Prince of Wales Island, the water people. And salt water is very healing. Don't forget that. Ganesh Chish.
Thank you so much. Oh, that was beautiful. So next, I'm going to call on Cheryl Fairbanks too. Now, that's what the name on the Zoom is. If you would introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Winona. I am a Stockbridge Muncie Mohican. I am not a grantee, but I work all nonprofit from my home. I help the kids of the inner city with finding ways to cope with whatever they're going through. So I moved to a new city probably 6 years ago, and I realized that there was a lot of Indigenous kids here that were, some of them were homeless, living under bridges, and and they just didn't have anybody. And I'm like, come here, come here. And so I just started helping them. and it just continues to grow every year into new things. We're working on opening our own nonprofit right now with Culture Center to help empower these youth with the things that they need, including how to side hustle, take that little hustle you're doing now and let's do it legally, showing them that it is a talent, just showing them that there's different options, different ways, like, what it is that's going on. Are you bored? Are you dealing with trauma? Do you have to go to Reiki, or what is it that you want to do? Because none of them want to go to therapists, just all that stuff, finding the solutions that they want to fix these issues, because they don't work in the same way that we all knew. We all were like, oh, you got to go to get medicine or go to therapy, which we never wanted to, but that was the only thing we had. So I just ask them, what is it that you need? What do you need? And it's great, because after working with them, I put them all through the same things, meditation and journaling. I'm like, let's start here, let's get it out. But then they start coming back with what they need. And so based on what feedback they give us, we create that need in a way that they want it. We find the solution that they want. What do you think is going to help you? And then by filling that, it shows them that it was right or it was wrong. And it can help them move on. Okay, well, let's adjust it then. And just empowering them in that way, the things that were lost in the boarding schools, and giving them that mother, that nurture that they've been looking for.
Yeah, sounds like it's awesome. Awesome work. I have teenagers that I'm raising, my niece and nephew. And so when you were like, find the solutions that they want, that is the answer. It is. I try to drag them to counseling.
It's a fight the whole way. So really so I ask them, and I'm the youngest of 13. So I have over 100 biological nieces and nephews, and I take my auntie duties very seriously. To a point where I wear a t-shirt at family functions that says favorite auntie right here. I'm like, nope, here it is. Come on, baby. Tell me what you got going on. And then we try to find a solution, so, and then I work that program too. We actually started an auntie circle, where anyone who comes in, we say, all right, we want to call you, we want to activate you. We call it activating the aunties. We're like, we want to activate you. What have you been doing for your nieces and nephews? What have you stepped in to help your brother or your sister with them? Have you seen problems that they're having, or come to our weekly meeting, and we're going to sew and we're going to bead, and we're either going to gossip, whatever it is, but it's the fact of getting them there. And we started bringing in the younger crowd, and what we say is, bring your sewing machine, your beading, and your problems, and lay it all out, because we have women from all ages and we've all been through some shit. So lay it on us. There ain't nothing we can't get through.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And what do you do for you?
I do a lot of hiking. I really like to get out in the woods, barefoot, and I just get lost in it. I don't stay on trails. I usually end up by a body of water, and then I really find comfort in bringing my bundle out and then just sitting with everything and letting my body relax. Because it almost seems like I have to be out there in the woods to do that.
Yes. And then also, I dropped another link into the chat, and we were supposed to have this young woman who created an app that connects aunties to nieces, and it's about sharing culture, sharing information, and it's called Rematriation. So I dropped the link. Her name is Afton, and if you went to the South Dakota Summer Solstice, you would have met her. And she's just like an amazing young woman. She was traveling and couldn't make it today. Listina, would you mind going next?
Sure, yeah. My name is Listina Salmerdassi, and I am the Assistant Wahpeton Dakota Oyate tribe of North and South Dakota, but I do reside in Omaha, Nebraska. The project that I chose to work on addresses the missing and murdered Indigenous women or peoples movement. I do have some experience in doing the work. I'm also a human trafficking advocate, so I've been doing that for the past 5 years, and part of that has taken me to trainings across the United States where I've got to pick up on the best practices from different nations and to see what different
MMIP organizations are doing. And I've also advocated for the passing of the official office for a liaison in the state of Nebraska. And that was passed, and we do have one now. But part of what brings me to this work is I do have 4 family members who are either missing or murdered, and their cases are unsolved and they're cold. So that's what drives me into doing this work, but it can also be a little challenging. And I have to be reminded to take care of myself when I feel some of those feelings or the grief that accompanies. I like to call it like it's not like the primary grief, but it can be like the secondary or different levels of grief when we start talking about justice, and when we start thinking about how many of our relatives and their families may not see that justice in their lifetime or ever. And that can be a little bit difficult. So my take on my project was to come up with a resource guide, a jump drive, or paper copies of like a tree of doing things, like this is what you would do when your loved one goes missing, or here's who to call, or these are the resources that are available in Omaha and also for the state of Nebraska, because I would like to give my findings to the Omaha Reservation, the Winnebago Reservation, and the Santee Reservation, so that everybody has these. And I guess like what I do to take care of myself is a lot of things. I like to sew. I like to talk to other people, other women. I'm also in recovery, and so I like to do self-help things. And I currently work at Nebraska Urban Indian Health Coalition as the youth program director there. That's a nonprofit agency that has a health clinic and other services under one roof. And I'm also on the board for the Nebraska Coalition to End Sexual and Domestic Violence Against Women as part of their advisory council for the Indigenous representation. And I just do a lot of other things in the community, or I do my best to stay connected. I participate in the powwow circle as an old style jingle dress dancer. My work is geared toward MMIP. I know Loretta and I know Tammy on here, and it's good to see them. I've served on a board with Loretta that addressed human trafficking in Colorado, Nebraska, and South Dakota. But due to non-participants from some of the tribal members, they ended up giving that grant back. So our committee was disintegrated. But she's one of the supports that I reach out to in the Omaha community, like for guidance or for prayer or for presentations on her knowledge as an elder and as a former counselor on different topics as well.
Awesome. I think we all need that prayer. Thank you. All right, Veronica.
Hi, everyone. My name's Veronica. I am Western Shoshone from the Tomoke tribe in Nevada. I'm happy to be here. That's one thing that I do for myself is I connect with family and I travel. I just did like a women's retreat in Hawaii, an earth medicine women's retreat, gathered with the indigenous women there as well. And it was just really beautiful to like share culture and healing in such a beautiful place. So that's one thing that I've been trying to do is to fill my cup by gathering in circle with women, taking little mini retreats for myself, or just coming out and sitting outside on the ground and in the sun. I am currently living in Portland, Oregon, but I was born and raised in Nevada. I'm a special needs mom. My little girl has a really rare condition. And I have my social work degree. All of those skills allow me to do social work for my daughter, because we have to find resources, we have to figure out medical things, schooling things. I mean, there's just so many things that comes along with taking care of a medically fragile little human being. But because of her, that's part of the reason why I've taken the journey that I'm on. and created my business known as Yaha. And Yaha in my Shoshone language is groundhog, and that was an indigenous first food for our people. And the groundhog also helps Mother Earth breathe because it burrows, tunnels under the earth. And so that's how the earth breathes and stays healthy as well. And so we have to pay attention to those animals as well and protect all animals that a lot of people may sometimes overlook this day and age. And to me, wellness is also language revitalization as well. And so I wanted YAHA to be an acronym for Yoga and Healing Arts Wellness. And so I incorporate my social work. I'm also a yoga teacher, and I incorporate all those things into one. I do women's panels. I speak to doctors about different things regarding my daughter's health. I do women's circles, yoga. I travel to Nevada to do things with my community there. So yeah, it's just been really awesome. I was so inspired by all of you women today, and I'm going to go teach a summer solstice yoga class this evening. And so this was just nice to gather with all of you to fill my cup, to feel inspired to be able to go and help others out there in the world. So thank you all so much.
Thank you so much for sharing. Betty, would you mind going next?
Hi, thank you so much. My name is Betty. I live in New Mexico. I'm not a grantee. I am a friend of Cheryl's, and she invited me to join you, and she's always spoke very highly of you and your work. And I come as an ally to this work. I live in New Mexico, and I'm an attorney. I work at Pegasus Legal Services. And one of the things we do is we represent Native American children and protect them with ICWA. We're part of an ICWA court. So if an Indian child comes into state custody, we'll become their attorney and work really hard to get them back home and connect them with the relatives and connect them with the culture. And I've also had the privilege of the last few years of working with Cheryl on peacemaking, trying to get it in the courts and just across the country. So this has been great. Thank you for letting me feel like I kind of crashed it, but I met so many new people just listening to everyone. And I was also fortunate Cheryl invited me to her OHO Women's Circle last month. So gathering with that group of people is very healing for me. So thank you for hosting us on this very special day. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and you are absolutely welcome. If you're here, you are meant to be here. So glad to come. I'm going to go back to Tammy, who told us this awesome story about her work and the evolution, but what she didn't tell us is what she does to take care of herself.
Yeah, my name is Tammy Buffalohead, and I'm enrolled with the Southern Ponca Tribe of Oklahoma, and I'm actually originally from Oklahoma, but I'm now in Omaha, the land of the Omaha people, which actually we're closely related to. What I do is my number one go-to is actually talking and engaging and sharing with like-minded people. They give me support, they give me energy, they give me that crutch sometimes that I need to get beyond my own grief or depression or anxiety. It's kind of a boost in the arm. And I love especially our culture bearers. Their wisdom is so healing. Just their presence is so healing. So it reminds me of my mom and the grandmas that I've lost, and so that connection and that closeness gives me strength and helps heal me. The other thing I do is Sierra would laugh if she were here right now, but she's actually in New Mexico, Albuquerque, with the New Songs Rising Fellowship. And I burn cedar and sage when I'm really feeling down. And sometimes it's almost like the house is on fire from all the smoke. But that helps me. I also listen to songs, especially like 70s, or the 60s, or some good Motown or Al Green. Helps, with my mood adjustment, helps me feel better, helps me feel lighter. The other thing that I've done that my husband's encouraged, and originally I was really hesitant to do because the idea of a stranger touching me is massage. And it actually helps a lot because I carry a ton of tension in my body. And after a massage, I'm amazed. In fact, my massage therapist always says, I carry my jaw like somebody who has, what is it, locked jaw, but I don't actually have that condition. So those are the things that I do. I also just enjoy being around people, and of course, having a nice, good meal. A great salad makes me feel better, and it makes me feel like I'm, eating right. So that's what I do. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Next, I'm going to call on Haley Laughter, whose name I love. It makes me happy just to say Haley Laughter. And we got to spend time and hang out at the last summer solstice, and just a beautiful, beautiful soul. I felt water just hanging out with Haley. So Haley, would you mind introducing yourself next?
Good afternoon, everyone. Yate, my name is Haley Laughter. Yenishne, but Ahni, Nishle, Torochini, Bashishchin, the Bethlejini A Dashache, and Tachini A Dashanale. My name is Haley Laughter, and my mother is from Churchilltown, New Mexico, and my dad is from Shanto, Arizona. And I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I moved back to the res about 15 years ago. And I really delved into culture and yoga. I've been practicing for about, 17 years now, and I've been teaching for more than a decade. And so I just want to thank all of you for your support and your kindness. When I came to Return to the Heart last year, I was really in a healing period. I had had some things happen to me, which are unexplainable. On top of that, like really just coming out of my shell. And so to come there and to show up, it was a really healing experience for me. And it was the kickstart to a new cycle and regeneration of myself and what my purpose is. I had stepped away from yoga for about, 4 years. And it was really devastating because internally I was going through an illness with my body. And everything that I had built up, everything that I worked so hard on, and that was like traveling and yoga and creating the indigenous yoga movement, I had to put to the side. And so it was very difficult, but it was humbling. And at the same time, I learned so much about myself. In in different spiritual practices, they call it like the dark night of the soul per se, So when I came to Return to the Heart, it was a time when I was just coming back out and just really accepting myself for who I am, and accepting the situation that I was in with my body, and also learning to love myself again. And it was the healing power of all the women coming together and really putting the synergy together in the efforts to help our communities that really inspired me. So thank you for that. I really, really appreciate that. I've also am partnering with Brown University for Indigenous Yoga, and moving forward with different organizations. And I'm super excited about that. And that was because, Return to the Heart allowed me the space to heal and to take in this energy that I am a leader and that I am good enough, and that I even though I didn't feel 100%, that still my spirit is never changing. And so that was the beautiful takeaway from Return to the Heart. So thank you for everything. It also showed me myself and my courage, and the courage and the tenacity that I had to have to break through those emotional barriers, and those I should say the grieving process of who I used to be and who I am now, and looking at my strengths and who I am, and understanding that that's never changing either. There's some really cool things that are coming out, and I'm super excited, and we'll announce those when they happen because they tend to get taken. But I just want to go through a couple of breathing exercises with you. And as a yoga instructor And studying indigenous philosophy and also yogic philosophy is coming to the understanding that, you know, our ancestors are the yogis on this side of the world, and we possess all of that power within us. We possess all the elements within us. And so through the breath, the wind, we use our words either to damage or to uplift people. Our lungs also purifying the body and the blood that runs through us. And with the thoughts and the songs that we have, the chants that we carry, the stories, the oral tradition that we have is all part of the wind. And so, you know, our breath also, when we breathe deeply, we calm down the nervous system. And due to historical trauma, due to, you know, all of the situations as far as cyclic abuse, alcoholism, you know, addiction, poverty, you know, different aspects that are challenges within the indigenous community, we tend to have high cortisol. And so part of the way that we naturally soothe ourselves and bring down the stress levels is through the breath. It actually decreases the fight or flight syndrome. So we are not actively in that creating cortisol all the time, which is damaging to the body. You just want to sit up straight and root your tailbone. Draw your shoulders back and make your spine long. Just give yourself a moment. Imagine you're a tall tree. You're sitting down on the earth and you have roots all below you that are grounding you. You can bring your hands into a mudra if you'd like, or you can just place them on your knees and just close into your eyes. Relax your belly, giving thanks and acknowledging the internal organs, the silent organs that are working really hard for you to experience this thing we call life. Digestive system, respiratory system, reproductive system, your heart. Take a deep breath in and fill your lungs all the way up. Fill your belly. Suck into the rib cage. Drop your shoulders down and open your mouth wide and go. Inhale. Suck your belly in. Raise your rib cage. Draw your shoulders down. Bring the top of your head towards the sky and let it out. Let's do 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. Last one, make this your best breath. Inhale, fill your lungs all the way up. Drop your shoulders down, stretch the top of your head, the crown of your head towards the sky. Fill your lungs a little bit more and hold it for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your mouth. Open your eyes and just bring your chin to your chest and bring your right ear to your right shoulder and bring your left ear to the left shoulder and just move side to side. Come back to the middle and slowly draw your head up to neutral position. Inhale, draw your arms all the way up, stretch up, bring your palms together. And on the exhale, draw your palms to your chest. Close into the eyes and just acknowledge the air, the wind within you. Thanking your body for everything that it does. consciously, unconsciously, giving thanks for this life and for this experience. Thank you so much. And I end with Hajona Haslin, Hajona Haslin, Hajona Haslin, Hajona Haslin. Namaste. Let it come back to beauty, to balance. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I was so excited when you shared that you would do this for us. That would be a perfect way for us to wrap up. And I'm going to pass it over to April for any last words. Just thank everyone for being here.
Thank you, everybody, for sharing space, for checking in, for celebrating summer solstice with us. It's one of the longest days and a time to reflect and a time to heal. I'm so thankful to Return to Heart Foundation for all my sisters that are here, all my sisters that I've met in person, the ability to share, to connect on the different types of healing that we're doing all throughout Indian country. And although we weren't able to meet in person, this was just the medicine that I needed for this year. Hopefully we'll be able to meet next year. I'm always thankful just to the foundation as well, because, you know, earlier it was said, sometimes we don't believe enough in ourselves. And when all of these people come around us and lift us up in so many different ways, we can do incredible things like what you all are doing in your own communities and what you've all done here. So I just want to say, ta'a pilama yaya, gracias et yehet. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining Summer Solstice. May you and your families be healthy, wealthy, and safe, and continue to have a blessed year. Ta'a. Thank you. The end.
Bye, everyone.